My name is Rob. I'm the developer for ThrustLander for the Atari VCS. I'm going to be doing a Let's Play video playing on the Unfair mode of the game, which is extremely unforgiving. I'm also going to be playing some retro levels and the occasional time level as well. I'm playing on the Atari Classic Controller. The ship is controlled by rotating the paddle. There's a primary fire button, there's a shoulder button, and then to fire special weapons you pull down on the controller. So to see an example of the controls, we can see here, so it supports the classic and it supports the modern controller. And we're just going to jump straight in. So the idea of this is I'm going to be playing everything on Unfair. So on Unfair, if your ship gets touched by anything, whether it be a rock or an enemy projectile, you lose. So this isn't going to be a tutorial, it's going to be more how I would play. After you complete each mission, you get credits, XP, and then potential unlocks and equipment unlocks. You can also jump ranks as well. So credits you can use to buy weapons, XPs is to unlock things in the game, and then the mission unlocks. The more missions you play, the more missions you unlock, and you unlock them in groups. So we just did that on Unfair, and we're going to play the time mission next. So you can see with the paddle joystick I have this really fast rotation speed that I can do. Okay. And we're going to play this on retro mode as well. And retro mode is essentially, if ThrustLander was made for the Atari 2600, what would it look like? And there's a primary and a secondary mode there. And we've got our credits, we've got our XP, and then we've got some armor. And we've upgraded our rank. Okay, and then there are, like, to give an idea, just in case people are interested, if you play on lower difficulty, so this is playing on easy. Easy is a lot more forgiving. The gravity is much, much lower, so I have more time to kind of maneuver. I can also bash into things, and my ship is relatively unscathed. And even the enemies require just a single hit if you actually manage to hit them. So, okay, let's move on to mission 2. And we'll play this in Unfair as well. So it ramps up pretty quickly. And typically enemies that are below your ship are much more difficult to hit. So our fuel is already at 50%. So we're going to land here for some fuel. And Unfair has the trickiest places for landing. So normally when I play this game I completely lose the ability to talk and fly at the same time, but I'm going to do my best. So something I just did then was when the turret gets destroyed, it will blast you backwards. Fuel pods. It'll blast you backwards, so the best thing that you can do is to thrust at the same time if you're close to the blast zone. Okay. Yeah, and the time missions, essentially, if you want to get 3 stars, you beat the green ship, 2 stars is the yellow, and 1 star is the red. And the biggest thing about the timed missions is not panicking, because it's very easy to panic. If I were to touch the sides at all, the ships would kind of speed up past me, so I'm actually just going to do that deliberately. So you can see when I touch it, the ship will speed past. And because I hit at the same time as the green ship, I still managed to get the 3 stars. Okay, so let's play on Unfair. On retro, rather. maybe an overkill. Okay. And I'm going to go to Unfair, and we're going to go to Loadout. I'm going to upgrade the fuel pods on the ship as much as I can.
Destroy all enemies.
And then let's... So that's a really good example of kind of overcommitting, and I couldn't change my direction in time. And part of it is because I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but one of the nice things about ThrustLander is you can be very slow and methodical, and you can equip your ship for that playstyle. Or, if you like to play more aggressively, you can equip your ship to play more aggressively as well. It is a very... So there, I'm just missing him. It's a very high skill game, though. It's similar to the old 2600 titles where you really have to learn how to play the game to get anywhere with it. So it's very unforgiving. So I'm just going to come in for landing. But then as you get more experienced and you get better at the game, it can be a very rewarding game to play as well. And the whole thing is very, very tactical. So it's all about how do I approach, what loadouts do I use for different levels, and what's the best way of taking out the enemies. Okay, we're going to play this in timed as well. I'm just going to do the first 4 on time because honestly the best way to get good at timed is by replaying the same level and optimizing for those specific levels. And then you'll kind of build muscle memory for every kind of beat where you want your ship to rotate, where to thrust, and what to do. I'm just going to circle around, and these are pretty tight spaces. And as you complete more timed levels, the waypoints actually get smaller and smaller. So it gets more and more difficult as you continue. Okay, so we're playing on retro. I'm gonna just sneakily knock him out there. And then we're gonna use our secondary fight to take him out. Retro has a whole bunch of different enemies as well, but it does just have 2 weapons. Okay, so we're gonna hit up Unfair again. And let's load a different weapon. So we're going to load out the Plasma Volta and do a couple of upgrades. So this is a good weapon for kind of locking onto a target. It's like a tracer, and then you can kind of zero in. So it's great at the start when you're still learning how to fly the ship, because it's much more forgiving in terms of target acquisition and the reloads. And you can actually upgrade it and use it throughout the whole game if that's kind of what you prefer. So I'm going to get deliberately further away from him, and then I'm going to try and find a gap. And then we're going to go and find a better angle. And I'm going to be careful when I destroy him because I don't want to be blown back into the environment. And I don't think we need to refuel. We have just 1 left. I get in the habit of refueling whenever I can, because once you run out of fuel a few times, you just get used to it. Okay, so we unlocked a defense drone. I'll see... okay, I'm getting overexcited. Okay, let's go for another time level.
Through all waypoints.
And on the mechanical levels, the timed missions are much more difficult, but the ships that you're racing against, they go a lot slower to kind of compensate, because there's a lot of 90-degree turns and really awkward angles. And you can get like ridiculously fast if you were to play this level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row.
Mission completed.
Okay, so we unlocked the plasma tea and the knockback. And I'm just skipping the reward sequences because I'm just trying to show as much gameplay as possible. Okay. And it's the same for the playstyle. Like, normally I tend to be a little more cautious when I'm playing. Plasma Storm. Okay, so let's get some of these new weapons. So we're going to go to Unfair, and I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to buy the defense drone. And I think we're good for fuel and everything. I'm going to keep the extra credits for now and just play through.
Destroy all enemies to complete.
Okay, so this is a very tricky level on Unfair. So we're gonna. So these are floating mines. And these particular mines, you can see their rotations, and you want to try and time in between. Mini pea shooter. Let's make our way. Our way around, and it takes a long time, as I say, to learn the mechanics of flying and what you can and can't do, what you can take liberties with, and what you can't take liberties with. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for him to rotate, and then we're gonna try and get in closer to take him out. And I'm starting to panic. Okay, so we got one out the way. I'm going to move out of range. Waiting for the rotation again. And now I'm going to go in. And my fuel's getting pretty low. But I think we're going to be okay.
Mission completed.
Okay, let's hit up the retro for that. So far I've hit nobody. And this is one of the tricky things about the retro is you have these segmented rotations. So you have to plan a little bit differently compared to how you would in the main game. Okay, let's go for an Unfair, and we're going to try a different weapon, I think. So let's try the Plasma Storm. So the Plasma Storm is an arc-based weapon. So if I just go like, whoa, if I just go like this, you can see it fires in an arc and has gravity to it. Whoa. Okay. So this is our introduction to lasers. And lasers provide a new difficulty level in gameplay, because sometimes you have to go through sequences. Okay, that was a little bit greedy, but I think we got away with it. And I'm going to not refuel as well, speaking of greedy. Yeah, so you have to go around sequences, and you also need to contend with different types of enemies behind lasers as well. So in this case, I'm going to see if I can just use the arc. And the trick to using the Plasma Storm is making sure you pay attention to your ship still, because it's really easy to pay attention to the arc and just crash into the environment. So we're gonna shoot around. Whoa, okay, that was bad. That's okay, I think we got away with it. Okay. So we're ramping up on the retro levels too, which is cool. And I'm going to equip a special weapon, and I think we'll do the buckshot to start with. See how we go with that.
Destroy all enemies to complete the mission.
Okay. We'll just get a feel for the ship. Okay, so you start to learn the angles and what you can and can't do. Whoa! Oh my god, that was a little close. Because on Unfair, even a single hit will destroy our ship. Okay. And I am going to fuel.
Ship refueled.
And once your landing struts are out, you can actually be pretty aggressive. I'm going to use the buckshot. So this is the special weapon, and it's great for when you're facing the opposite way to enemy turrets. Oh, that would have been good. Okay.
Mission completed.
Okay, let's hit up the retro. I'm gonna see how many of these I can do in a reasonable amount of time. There we go. And I want to kind of show that I know when people first play this, it's a very daunting game to play. Even when you're experienced with the game, you need to keep paying attention. Because right then I didn't think ahead to the blast, and because I was on Unfair, that was the end of the level. I personally find Unfair one of the most fun modes because it's so unrelenting. It's all about concentration and planning and mixing in luck as well. But if you are after a more casual game session, easy is a lot of fun as well, and you can get knocked around a lot more. It all depends what you're looking for in the game. Yeah.
Mission completed.
Yeah, those industrial levels especially are difficult with knockback because they're just so tight. Okay, so we're going to take out the turret first. We have to get a little closer to this guy because we can't do the fine angles. We want time shield. That's very good upgrade. Okay, let's hit Unfair again. Let's try the Apocalypse Bomber. So, this weapon is a very high damage but high precision weapon. So if you miss, then there's a painful reload time that you're kind of punished with. So you can see right there I kind of panicked and I missed.
Destroy all enemies.
But as you gain comfort with the weapon, it becomes like a very rewarding gun to play with, because you can have it on a low upgrade, and you can one-shot most of the enemies in the game. Assuming you don't miss, which I'm doing a lot of right now.
Ship refueled.
Okay. So we've got 3 left. Got 1, 2. We'll try a longer shot for this one. Oh, let's flip it around. Hook shot.
Mission completed.
And we'll have, oops. We'll have another go with the Apocalypse one next. So these get trickier because, like, in order to get the angle on this guy, I need to be pretty close. Okay, so we're gonna circle around. Let's see how we do. And the thing you just saw then on ThrustLander, as you progress, the turrets have a chance of doing a misfire, and that means they do a non-predictable shot. So it adds an element of planning to proceedings. Oops. So I got overexcited and accidentally pulled back on the controller. Okay, that's the benefit of having the drone on this side. Okay. And like I said before, like if your playstyle is slow and methodical, this secondary, this weapon is very, very useful to have. Let's get refueled. Let's see if I can slide off the pad. Behind us. And it's interesting flying the ship because when you are in trouble, the first thing that you kind of think of doing is you overcompensate, but it's more akin to like a racing game when if you overcompensate at high speeds, then you're kind of in trouble. So you generally, oops, you don't want to do it. I'm gonna travel. This is a bad idea. Okay, that could have been done better. So we'll try and time it in between the shot. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna hit open fire again. Let's switch to the Plasma T just to show off that weapon. So the Plasma T is cool because you fire in multiple directions at once. So what this means is you can face a different direction to your firing. So we actually just encountered a new turret there, so it's a little so it had to be hit more times than normal. Yeah, so if you really don't like the twist, turn back, and shoot mechanic, the Plasma T is great for that kind of play style. Whoops. So that was just me being super sloppy.
Destroy all enemies.
Yeah, so you see there, I was just maintaining my my height while I was taking out the turrets. Whoa. And I always forget you need to leave just that little bit more time on Unfair to change your velocity, because gravity is just that little bit more aggressive. Okay. Let's try this again. I think this is a case of kind of speed and playing at the same time, which is not what I'm good at. Okay. we're gonna try and not crash this time. There is something about this environment as well that makes it a little bit scarier, with little things jutting out the rocks, especially on Unfair, and when you're dealing with really tight. Okay, that was pure luck. When you're dealing with really tight maneuvers. And I should probably go a little slower, but like I say, I'm trying to show as much of the game as possible quickly. But this is why I prefer Unfair, because I just love the high difficulty level.
Ship refueled.
Originally, Unfair was the only difficulty level, but after getting feedback from people, it was a unanimous vote that it's a terrible idea just to have one difficulty level, so this is where we are. Okay, let's go for retro. Okay, so any Gravatar fans will start to see some influences around here. It's very similar to some of the old reactor levels in the game. I mean, it's not a carbon copy, but I did like the spiral idea. Okay. I'm gonna circle around. Okay. That was a little close. Okay, let's hit up Unfair. Let's see what else we can equip. So, we're going to try out the Scatterpulse. And what else should we try? Maybe let's just change one thing at once. We'll do the Scatterpulse and then go from there.
Destroy all enemies to complete the mission.
Okay, so this may have been a bad level to try the Scatterpulse on, but that's okay. Okay, we're gonna go in because the rotation is good. And this level introduces an enemy called the Homing Mine, which is the most horrible enemy in the game. Okay. So homing mines, once they see you, they rush towards your ship beeping, and it adds some very tense moments. Okay, I think we're good. No, we're not. Okay, that was a little bit close for comfort. Okay, he's going to wait until he rotates out. And he's just on the landing pad, which is so mean to put him there. Okay.
Mission completed.
Okay, and we'll hit up the retro level for this as well. Okay, so you can see now the retro levels are getting to be not a joke. And as usual, as soon as I start concentrating, my language starts to shut down. Okay, because this is a deceptively tricky level. Okay. Just about every single enemy on this level is in a funny place. Okay. We're gonna see if we can equip the beam weapon. So I'm just gonna equip that fella. See how we do with it.
Destroy
So
all
the beam
enemies
weapon
to complete
is a continuous hit weapon. The downside to firing is that it uses quite a lot of fuel up. Oh wow, that's tight. Okay. And it's one of the spiky levels, which I love so much. Take advantage of my buckshot. And I'm just referring to my mini-map as I'm playing in the bottom right corner. It gives good hints where I have been. And I took off before I'd refueled because I was wandering about up here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's finish up refueling because... Okay, whoa! Okay, and we'll try not to blow up the ship.
refuel.
And like I've said before, the okay, got a situation. Buckshot to take him out, and I'm going to try and time in between. And then we'll try. So the laser is it doesn't do a lot of damage. So if you just graze something, you need to reacquire your target.
Fuel 100%.
Okay. This is... I'm actually going to circle around and I'm going to use the buckshot on this because it's just precarious enough where I'm not comfortable with that angle. Okay, let's see what we're doing for our retro level. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to keep this video around half an hour, and I think that's where we're up to. I just wanted to show ThrustLander after a player gets practice at the game. There's hopefully a lot of gameplay here for people that are interested. There's 10 weapons, all of them upgradable. There's 5 special weapons, there's 5 drones, and there's 5 ship upgrades. And then there's 3 completely different game modes, 4 difficulty levels, and then there's 128 levels in ThrustLander, and some of the later levels in the game can take you 30 to 40 minutes just to go through and play. So it really ramps up and it provides a challenge. It's been designed in such a way that if you are stuck on a level, if you complete it in any mode, you then unlock the next levels afterwards. So it should mean that you never get to a point where, you know, there's 30 levels in the game and you're stuck on level 7 and you can't get past it and you can't complete the game. Like, you should always be able to carry on playing and to experience more and more of the game. It's definitely a niche game for people who enjoy very high skill level games, but it's a lot of fun and it's very rewarding, and it has that element of just one more go to it, and also wanting to upgrade your ship. Yeah, so it's available in the Atari VCS now. It's going to be available on Steam for the PC in July, but the VCS experience with this paddle joystick, it's so much fun to play on this device. Like, even compared to a mouse or a classic controller, there's just a level of control you get with this that you don't get with any other input peripheral. So that's everything from me, and goodbye.